Are you a parent? Well, today's threat assessment is a topic that always gets my blood boiling and basically every other parent I know. When our public education system tries to strip away parental rights, because I have pounded my fist on the same podium for my kids before. Every day on this show, I take great joy in highlighting the absolutely brain-dead policies the left does have, but this goes a step further for me. Their attempts to take away parental rights, my rights over my children, it's not perception. It's not my opinion, it's reality. It was bad enough when the DOJ branded parents as domestic terrorists because we just spoke out at a school board meeting about the mistreatment of our children when they were in the classroom. What's truly crazy, though, is the notion that children have access to highly, highly sexualized material in our schools. Sometimes it can't even be read at Board of Ed meetings. And that these so-called well-meaning school administrators, that's the problem, is the administrators. They find it perfectly acceptable. They're like, well, I don't know why you're so mad. Made out to be like we're some sort of unhinged radical parent. But the question should be is, why are we as parents so upset in the first place? Maybe take 5 seconds to try to understand it. It's much easier for an unaccountable bureaucrat that doesn't answer to anybody to just slap a label on us and point fingers and call us crazy. Thankfully, we have courageous souls like the Reverend in North Carolina who spoke up at a recent hearing and called a school board out for their garbage.
This book here, it's called It's Perfectly Normal. I'll read some of this for you. It says, after a bit, a person's becomes moist and slippery.
Can we, sir, I'm sorry.
Was it something I said? If you don't want to hear it, why should the children have to see it?
Pastor, your time is up. Thank you.
That makes 2 of us.
Oh, trust me, folks, you should hear the parts that we can't put on air. It gets even worse than that. It made these cowardly administrators squirm, and that's the whole point. If you can't play it there, why should you be able to put it in a classroom? It brings to my mind this headline from 2 years ago, which still makes me cringe. And that's because it's a personal level to me, folks, because one of the second graders, this was one of the classes, was one that my daughter was a part of. She was on the remote learning that day and did not see it, fortunately. But that's something any parent should never have to go through, where they showed a cartoon erection to second graders. And it's not new. The education system has been trying for years to expose our children to graphic and sexual content and have conversations in the classroom which should only take place in the privacy of your own home at the appropriate age. They're minimizing the parent's role here. This is a file from 2021 from the Connecticut State Department of Education. On page 13, the curriculum calls for 3rd to 5th graders to be taught about masturbation and 6th to 8th graders to be taught about many other things that are barely even available on the internet. Can you imagine that? And the parents are horrified and the Board of Ed is like, I have no idea why. And again, this was way back in 2021. The problem has only grown worse in the last 2 years. And it's way past the time we do something about it. Joining me now is a man we just saw in that video moments ago, Reverend John, is it Amanchukwu? Chawuku?
Yes, you're almost there.
I'm almost there. I apologize. All right, so you're the founder of Erased Project. Reverend, I saw this and I was like, my man, speaking up, I appreciate it so much. What was the reaction?
The reaction was that the board had rocks in their jaws. They were upset because I read what they have allowed in their school system. The book is right here. It's plain, it's simple. This book is filth, it's trash. It talks about homosexual sex, lesbian sex, transgenderism, and all of these different things. They're putting this in front of children, and this book is for kids 10 and up. What are we doing? What are we thinking? Yeah. What are we saying to children? You know, I believe that parents should know what's going on in the classroom. And there was a time frame where people who were of the homosexual community, they said that what they did in their bedroom was their business. But today it's moved from the bedroom now to our libraries and our classrooms and our bathrooms, and we need to draw the line in the sand. So I'm calling on parents around the country, in particular pastors. We need pastors to speak up. Leave your pulpit and go down to your local school board meetings and give these people the what for. We need men to stand up. Today, many men are neutered and silent, and they're quiet. They won't speak up. They have lost their manhood and their testosterone, but they are afraid to say what's necessary. Today, I'm drawing the line, and I'm saying what needs to be said, and this kind of filth, this grooming material, this holy grail of the left, diversity, equity, and inclusion is a false triune God. And if you don't bow to it, they will bludgeon you, label you, call you a homophobe or a bigot. But it's time to stand strong against this mess.
Yeah, Pastor, that was basically the most concise thing I've ever heard on this network. But I got to ask you, though, when I was in school, I'm 40 years old. When I was in school, I didn't know my teachers even existed outside the classroom, even through high school. If you saw them out in town, you were like, oh, you do exist. Now it's like, hey, look what I do, and here's my partner, or whatever. Why can't they just leave that stuff at home and teach my kids how to land a rocket on the moon?
Because there's an agenda. In order to get kids to the abortion clinic, they have to sexualize them young. And so they put this kind of filth and garbage in front of kids, and they sexualize them. They rob them of their innocence. I mean, this is cruel. It's child abuse. It's a dastardly deed that they are allowing this to take place. And I'm calling for men and women across the country to begin to go to the school boards, know it's in your libraries, because there are some wicked and evil nut jobs that are working in the position as librarians in this country, and they are the ones who are spending taxpayer dollars to buy this stuff and to put it in the school system, and it needs to end. I'm saying not on my watch, and I believe that there are many parents around the country who are saying the same thing.
Yeah, recently in Florida, a parent spoke out at a school board meeting hearing about her child's class being shown a movie with a gay character in it, and the teacher of that class responded to those complaints. Look at this.
Allowing movies such as this assist teachers in opening a door for conversations that have no place in our classrooms.
These conversations, these doors that she's talking about, that's telling me I'm stripping her rights as a parent, those rights are gone when your child's in the public school system.
Those rights are gone when you put your kids in the public. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, and that's the thing. They want to rob you of your rights. They want to rob you of your freedoms. And see, we're at the point where parents have to decide if they keep this filth in the school system. We need to vote and protest with our feet and find other school systems. This is why I am a proponent of school choice. We need the funding to follow the child and not the school district. When there is competition in the free market, everyone gets better. And in particular, in this case, the school systems that have the majority of the funding from taxpayers will get better, and that's the government schools.
Imagine that, Reverend. You are welcome back on this show anytime. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right.